Del Rosario from Manila against Paul Moore from just down the road. So what does Lisa open up with? Nice and compact style, and kicks that 9 hard, but it won't go.
Yes, the nice smooth style of Lisa Del. Slightly high on the head pin of that first shot, but she had the 4-9 split standing up, but tripped the 4 pin, as we'll see, and almost wobbled the 9 as well, so it was very close to a strike. Just a fraction high, and that 4 pin hits the 9, but it won't go.
You talked about the base of these pins, these twister pins in an earlier match, Cass. They're a little bit more solid, aren't they, now? When you hit them, they really do need a good wallop to go down.
Well, they are brand new pins, and so the bottoms are really square. There's no sort of wear on them at all, so they may well wobble, but they don't always fall over. So yes, you certainly need to hit them hard and straight on, as that spare was.
So Lisa opens up with a spare. Well, let's see what Paul Moore can open up with. Very, very difficult man to judge with his body language, Paul, because he's very economical in everything he does. Not a lot of smiles, not a lot of jokes. You sometimes think to yourself, well, he doesn't look very happy, but that's his normal demeanour. He does not wear his heart on his sleeve, Paul, but he didn't look too happy in those practice sessions, I thought, and he's gone a very wide line there and missed the head pin. And yeah, I looked at him in practice, I thought he doesn't look right.
Well, 136 in the 7 pin. It's the washout on his first shot. He's gone flirting with the channel on the left-hand side. Got some reaction, but it was just a bit too far out, and the look on his face tells us why.
Well, it's a makeable spare, but it's a tough thing to open up with, and the worry is that you've missed the head pin with your first ball, and he's left himself open. Well, it really is amazing. We've had 4 matches now, and every single one of these matches at this year's World 10-pin Masters, one player has opened up with an open frame.
Yes, unusual. He's had 5 or 10 minutes practice, and with his first shot to count, he's missed the head pin on the left-hand side, and unfortunately can't make the spare, so he's opened up frame 1.
Didn't look right, Cass. Didn't look right in practice at all, and that first shot certainly wasn't right.
He's very much focused in on his own game, and he will be concentrating on beating the lane rather than trying to beat Lisa Rosario's score. He wants to conquer the lane, and Lisa's gone a bit wide on that one.
Well, he just caught the head pin there. Very, very late reaction. And we'll have to settle for 9, because it could have been an awful lot worse.
Yeah, well, 9's it's a bonus ball. She's gone pretty wide. It's just sailed out a little bit, but there is a reaction there. She's just fortunate to clip the head pin. It was a 2-pin stand. It was a great overhead shot. Showed exactly how the reaction of the ball was. And she should straighten this shot out for a nice, simple single-pin spare.
Yep, just like that. So 2 9 spares for Lisa Del Rosario. But the interesting thing now will be, what does Paul Moore do on his next ball? Nice and steady there for Lisa. She is a good spare hitter, single-pin hitter, but she'll be thinking to herself, right, let's get the strikes going, because that's how you get the big scores.
Welcome back to the World 10-Pin Masters. This is the first round match between Lisa Del Rosario and Paul Moore. We join the action in the 3rd frame of the opening game. Commentary comes from Cass Edwards and Nick Halling.
Let's see what Lisa can get going now.
Oh dear. And this is a very missable spare as well. So often you see the head pin of these 3 getting left behind, and she was way out of the pocket on that one.
Yeah, the radar wasn't greatly directed. Nice slide and steady at the line there. A unique style of Lisa Rosario. That ball just sort of set into the head pin. It didn't. It hooked and then set, which means it sort of went straight on. If it was a pocket shot, it could well have carried these 3 pins, but she has the 3, the 6 and the 10 left.
Big sister Lynn looking on with some concern. Well, Lisa will be concerned if she misses this lead pin. Oh, she's taken the lead pin and left the other 2. Dear, oh dear.
Yes, an error of judgment, no more than that.
As we said, Cass, it's not an easy one. If you go too far to the right, you leave the head pin, the lead pin. If you go too far to the left, you run the risk of just taking the head pin or the lead pin and leaving the other 2.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if this is the adjustment that Lisa's talked about in the interview that she's made to her game. The ball actually hooked as it got towards the head pin, to the front pin, but then set, we call that set, it just ran out of hook, which sometimes can be an advantage, but unfortunately on that spare it wasn't.
So a chance for Paul Moore here to turn a small deficit into a small lead. And he leaves the 7. Not much wrong with that pocket hit again. And we saw Wim van der Veen, the other left-hander in an earlier match, consistently in the pocket, but leaving a 7 or a 9 or an 8. And there is Wim, and he's probably thinking, you know what, I had this problem in my match.
Yeah, it's all to do with the angle that the ball comes in on the 1-2 pocket for the left-hander. If it's such an acute angle, there's no reaction round that 10 pin. The 4 pin just jumps around it rather than taking it away. So he too has to settle for a single pin spare.
Yeah, the radar not tuned at all for Paul Moore in his first one. The last 2 have looked a lot better, but still we wait for a strike for Paul and from Lisa. So nothing in it so far. Who's going to make the breakthrough here? Who's going to put the first X against their name? The worry is, and we've seen in earlier matches, the players struggled, never got it together, and in fact their struggles got worse as the lane just seemed to toy with them. So let's hope these two can get themselves straightened out. Lisa's only just made the head pin there, and that's really not what she needed at all.
That actually showed what I was talking about, the ball setting. The ball actually hooked towards the head pin in the pocket, but then sort of ran out of hook and went straight on. And unfortunately it's left with a 2 and a 10 pin split. Now just watch this, there's the hook, and that's the roll out. It just hasn't got it made up to the pocket. Now this is a makeable spare, but she has to hit this 2 pin on the left hand side and chip it across almost like a messenger and take that 10 pin away.
Yeah, big ball this for Lisa. Is it going to do the work? No, didn't quite get the angle on it. Back-to-back open frames for Lisa Del Rosario, and it's advantage to the lane once again so far.
Yeah, it's a long way to come to not shoot any strikes, and 2 open frames out of 4 is not the way she'll want to start.
Yeah, not a strike to be seen in this match. And Lisa very much spinning her wheels at the moment. The real surprise for me is that this man is a strike machine, and he's struck endlessly on this lane, and still we wait for his first strike. Is this it? Yes, at last.
Well, yes, he looks pleased with that, and hello, a few thundersticks in the crowd. Going a bit crazy there, they are. Crowd really enjoying that shot from Paul Moore. First strike of the match. Nice lot of rotation on this ball. You can see it working up hard, right into the 1-2 pocket, and clears all 10 pins away. Happy man.
Well, he deserved it. He'd been a bit unlucky with a couple of earlier good pocket hits that just took 9. So at the 3rd time of asking, he's got a strike. Now, if there's an adjustment needed, Lisa better make it fast. Back-to-back open frames, and that's not looking good, even though it's got all 10. It was a Brooklyn hit. You'll take the 10 and be happy, but it wasn't a clean hit.
No, that's right. It's crossed the head pin to the left-hand side, gone into the 1-2 pocket we call the Brooklyn strike. And you can ask me about those later. But it has carried all 10. It's hooked and it's run out, and she's sarcastically happy about that one. She'll accept it.
Well, you've got to take the breaks any way you can get them, especially when you're coming off back-to-back open frames. Lisa really needed that. But she'll know.